Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wright Perspective. Today, we're going to recap and discuss Double Indemnity, a 1944 American psychological thriller film noir directed by Billy Wilder, co-written by Wilder and Raymond Chandler. It was also produced by Buddy DeSylva and Joseph Sistrom. The film stars Fred MacMurray, Barbara Stanwyck, Edward G. Robinson, and it is absolutely considered a classic. In fact, it was nominated for 7 Academy Awards. It didn't win any, but it has been named as a standard for the film noir genre. And so, many people consider it a classic. But today, we will determine whether it is a classic from the Wright Perspective. We'll do a recap and then we'll discuss plot and direction and characters and acting and cinematography, sound, music, and then we'll take a vote using a voting symbol picked especially for this discussion. But we got to start with intros. Kick us off, bro.
Hi, I'm Aubrey Wright. I'm the oldest.
I'm Genia Wright. I'm the middle.
Hi, I'm Brittany Wright, and I'm the youngest.
Y'all, Double Indemnity. I'm excited for us to have, first of all, another black and white film in our queue here. Okay. Mm-hmm. And also now this was the 40s. We hadn't done any films from the 40s. So we checked off a couple of great boxes there.
I know you like to create those boxes and then check them off.
So. Oh, man, a nice table. Oh, there's nothing like it.
Excel spreadsheets.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, Brittany and I often talked about, getting boxes checked.
Oh, it's funny because it's true. Y'all, can I tell y'all, when it comes down to voting symbols for this movie, I'm in trouble. I had 7 and I eliminated 2. Y'all, there's just so many. Oh, and so I thought I would just really keep my explanation short.
All right. Go ahead.
But I tried to shorten the list. I did.
Rapid fire.
But there was just so much.
Listen, when the list got you, it's got you.
Oh, it's going to get you. It's going to get you.
It's going to get you good.
So the first suggestion, did y'all think of any, by the way?
I totally forgot that we needed them until you said them.
I did.
Okay, all right. Let's go through.
I didn't forget, but of course, but in watching it, nothing
captured
out.
you.
Yeah, nothing jumped out at me.
I got one.
All right.
We weren't expecting you to come up with it until just now.
No one is surprised. We aren't surprised. The listeners and viewers aren't surprised. So the first one I have is Red Hot Poker. Okay. You remember the main character, he likened this entire situation to a red hot poker more than once. He talked about the first time he referenced the red hot poker, he said that this situation, he was like, it's like a red hot poker. And I know I need to drop it before my hand burns off, but I'm not going to. Something along those lines, And so that's the first one. The second one, get ready. I hope your socks are on tight because this one's going to get you. The second one is an actuarial table. An actuarial table is it's like a spreadsheet that shows the probability of a person's death by like a certain age or means, right?
What?
Y'all, don't y'all remember? This whole movie is about insurance. Okay.
How to spell actuary. No one knows how to spell it.
Y'all, Keys, the claims manager. Okay, he referenced the actuarial table in terms of citing how unlikely it is that this particular kind of murder would have occurred. Okay. The third one is the little man. Okay, because you remember that Keys, the claims manager, he kept referencing the little man. What he was actually referencing was his gut. And I think this is a really important symbol for this movie because the main character, he's constantly naming his gut, giving him reservations, and then he's doing something else. Okay, and also it is the claims manager of the insurance agency that follows his gut and gets so close to solving the fraud. So I just think there's something really important about where gut and instinct really conflict with actions taken in this movie. No? Didn't grab you? All right. Okay, so number 4. Option number 4 is a straight line. Now that one has to resonate. Okay, because the two main characters that were committing the murder, they kept talking about their murderous plan as like a straight line. They're basically, whenever they were referencing straight line, they were saying
our paying attention to the movie.
They were saying our plan is
I remember
they said it repeatedly.
They
said it repeatedly. They were saying straight line. And what they were saying is, listen, follow the plan to a T. Just follow the murderous plot that we have come up with. Don't drop a ball and we'll get away with it. We'll get the money. Okay. All right. The fifth one is a cigar in a match. Okay. This is good because it is symbolic of the relationship, okay, between Walter, the main character, and Barton, the claims manager. But remember, it is their closeness it is their friendship. It's their rhythm of friendship that actually kept the claims manager off the scent. Right? They were too close to each other. And that's why the claims manager didn't discover who the real murderer was. Okay?
Well,
all right.
Well, I got to tell you, we got to stop doing Jania's symbols up front because people are going to start logging off.
Oh, no! Okay, maybe I should.
Because that's the best part of the whole podcast.
Maybe I should. Like, well, that's it for me.
Of how passionate she is. It's definitely my favorite part.
Y'all.
It's my favorite part.
Well, this last one, y'all, I saved it for last because I had 7 and I'm only presenting 6. And this last one.
Oh, okay. To round it out, do all 7.
This is the last one.
This one to know.
This is the last one, and this one is good and this is the one that I would have. It's also the most predictable, which is what makes it good, and it's an ankle bracelet. Why? Because the ankle bracelet was the tool of intrigue. Okay, the temptress that was actually at the heart of the murderous plot. She just had that little dangly ankle bracelet that really drew in Walter. Okay? That was a tool.
This is your fault, bro.
It was a tool of manipulation.
You encouraged this segment of the show.
I love it. It's my favorite part.
You encouraged it.
That's it. Yeah, I had to stop because they just kept coming to me.
The reason why it's so good is because I just want everybody to know in podcast land, this is no fronting. This is no setup. This is our real sister.
We show up as our
There is no hot sauce. There is no hot sauce. This is Jania.
I had to stop y'all.
Whenever
there were so many options.
Movie, I just envision her with a notebook, like a pad, like she's so excited.
I use my laptop. My laptop, and I take notes electronically, and then I come back with a pen and pad, and I pull out the key points that we need to cover. I circle back with the pen.
So we have 6 symbols from Jania. Do you want to do yours? I had one that I
okay.
While I was watching. Brittany, you want me to do mine or yours?
Oh, I'll just you can do yours. I have 3 that I came up with.
Oh, that fast? Go ahead, sis.
Yeah.
What you got, bro?
Well, the one that came out to me was a train car because Keys.
That's good.
First of all, Keys.
It's very
describe
good.
This whole murder situation or the fact of having a plot is being on a train.
Yes.
And it only has one destination. And we saw that destination play out within, at the end of the movie. But in addition to that, the plot happened on a train. So I thought a train car would be a good symbol. That was the one I had.
Oh, that's a good one, bro.
Listen, that's literally my first one. I was like, oh, a train.
Good.
I said train, recorder, and an insurance policy. Like those are things.
Mm-hmm.
Because the recorder, because that's literally where he's talking to the entire movie.
It's called a dictaphone. I looked it up. That kind of recorder is called a dictaphone.
Listen.
For dictation.
I want a dictaphone, a train, a dictaphone, or an insurance policy.
Oh, sis, those are good. Those are very good.
That's it. Mine are literal.
We have an embarrassment of riches here. We have an embarrassment of riches because these are all very good.
I think that all of Jania's ideas are so good that it would be unfair to pick one of them. And
listen,
and it would be unfair because they're all so good,
especially with that straight line.
Sis, if you don't get that one, you didn't watch it.
And listen, especially with that straight line.
Oh man, if you don't
it could
remember
be a straight
that
line going through a train.
I gotta tell y'all, I would be very happy with the train option, because the other thing that is the train is the reason why the double indemnity clause was activated.
Very true.
Very good, bro. That was a good one. And it was on both of
train.
y'all's lists. Let's go with train.
All right, let's do it. We'll do a train car, and you can pop up a little
train car.
You can pop up a little picture once you go back and start editing these. It could be a little train car for each.
Okay. Oh, make it the Soul Train.
Listen, I try to use the most generic. I use the most generic clip art.
Is a mixture of both of us.
I use the most generic clip art because I don't know legalities around logos and things.
That's right.
Trust me, I get the most generic clip art.
You use that clip art.
Okay.
That public domain clip art.
Public domain.
That's right.
Might just type the word train. I don't know.
Or just use your imagination. Everybody knows what a train looks like. You don't even need to put it in there.
All right.
Okay. So that's a good one, bro. Y'all, this is good. I'm excited. All right. So since you twisted my arm, the one I eliminated was honeysuckle. All right. So let's hop into the recap.
Maybe I fell asleep. During this movie.
I mean, Brittany, you definitely fell asleep if you didn't catch.
Listen, because
if you didn't get honeysuckle and you didn't get straight line, you weren't using your active listening skills.
It's not even about getting them. I heard them, but I'm trying to see why they were so important.
Significant.
That they would be as simple.
Sis, he said that murder. He said, who knew murder smelled like honeysuckle? The street that the Dietrichsons lived on it smelled like honeysuckle to him. Sis, get in the weeds. All right. Okay. Let's go through the recap. So hopefully next season, Brittany will actually watch the movies that we're recapping. All right. So let's get that we're discussing. So y'all, the recap, it is brief. All right. But I will just say, before we get into the movie really quickly, I have to give, for people who haven't seen, so y'all, if you're new to our podcast, spoilers abound. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we actually do a recap at the top in case people haven't seen it, or haven't seen it in a really long time. And so, for those that haven't seen it, I have to just give you a sense of the feel of the movie. It's in black and white, like we said earlier, and it was shot in a style called film noir. All right. Encyclopedia Britannica defines film noir as a style of filmmaking characterized by such elements as cynical heroes, stark lighting effects, frequent use of flashbacks, intricate plots, and an underlying existential philosophy. And listen, that describes the feel of this movie to a T. It had a very, very unique energy about it. And it was in everything. It was in the dialogue. It was in the visual effects. Everything about it, the way the story was paced, it was very unique. And that is all about that film noir filmmaking style. And the movie is set in Los Angeles in 1938, and the central character is Walter Neff. He is a successful insurance salesman, and the first time we see him, he is in his office bleeding from his shoulder, having clearly been shot. Okay, he goes into his office. He picks up the dictaphone and he starts to tell a story that becomes the narration for the film. And it turns out to be a murder confession. Okay. And throughout the movie, they flash back to him talking into the dictaphone. And each time the blood spot from his wound gets bigger and bigger. Right. So the entire story takes place between the end of May and mid-July in that year. And in those 2 months, his entire life spirals. Okay. And of course, it's because of what? Money and a woman. How many men in this here life have fallen because of money and or a woman? Okay. So he met the woman named Phyllis Dietrichson on a routine insurance sales call. Okay. He had stopped by her house to get her husband, Mr. Dietrichson, to renew his automobile insurance policies. The husband wasn't there, and that is too bad. Because Phyllis and Walter were into each other immediately, and they got together the very first night that they met. Okay, and that was also the night that they basically indirectly started planning Mr. Dietrichson's murder for insurance money. All right, and the plan was tight, and it was executed flawlessly, including getting Mr. Dietrichson to unknowingly sign up for an insurance policy, okay, making sure their alibis were airtight, okay, including witnesses, and making it seem as if Mr. Dietrichson died by falling off a moving train. And in case you're wondering why they chose a train, we mentioned it earlier. It's because Mr. Dietrichson's accidental death insurance policy had a double indemnity clause for railroad-related death. So a double indemnity clause is a provision for payment of double the face amount of an insurance policy under certain conditions. Phyllis and Walter committed this murder, and they were almost in the clear. Okay, they are so close to getting that payout, which would have been $100,000. In today's dollars, though, it would be $1.9 million. All right. Can you believe inflation? It's ridiculous. Anyway, there are only two people potentially standing in the way of this payout. Okay. The first is Mr. Dietrichson's daughter from his first marriage. Her name is Lola. And she says that she actually saw Phyllis trying on her grieving clothes before Mr. Dietrichson was dead. And frankly, she had always suspected Phyllis, her stepmother, of killing her actual mother. Okay. The second person that could stand in the way is the claims manager that works at Walter's insurance firm. Okay. Barton Keyes. This man is actually really good friends with Walter. Okay. And Barton Keyes, here's what you need to know. He is passionate about his job and he is excellent at it. He routinely saves the insurance company money by detecting fraudulent claims. Okay. And Barton actually does eventually figure out that it was a murder. Okay. Not an accidental death, but he suspects the wrong guy. He suspects Lola's boyfriend, which is a guy named Nino Zacchetti. Walter Neff is watching the investigation play out and he starts getting nervous. As he should. Okay. He's a murderer. Okay. And he starts to doubt Phyllis. And then he realizes, he puts two and two together and realizes she has actually been manipulating him this entire time. Okay. And he goes to her home to kill her. All right. And she admits the whole thing and she shoots him in the shoulder. She totally could have just killed him right then. But then after the first shot, she realizes that she does have feelings for him and she hesitates. And I ask you, how many women in this here life have fallen because of love? Taking us right on out. All right. Because then he kills her. All right. Afterwards, he goes to his office and he begins recording the confession that is the narration for the film. Barton Keyes, now at the end of the movie, the claims manager, is actually the intended recipient for the recording, has been the intended recipient all along. And at the end of the movie, he actually walks in as Walter is recording this confession and finishing up. And then, so he catches him, they have a discussion, a moment of reckoning. And then we watch Walter sink to the floor while Keyes calls the police and an ambulance. We don't know if Walter lives or dies, but guess what? It doesn't matter. His life is over. And that's how the movie wraps.
Excellent. Excellent movie.
Y'all, all I know is, I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't know anything about film noir, but I was so, I just enjoyed that filmmaking approach. It felt so unique. Even as a person that watches older films, that particular, genre, it just felt so different, So what did y'all think? What were your impressions of it?
Well, Britt, you said it was excellent.
Oh, I was saying her review was excellent.
Oh, thank you, sis.
Excellent movie review.
Thank you, sis. What did you think of the film noir style? That clip talking, that lighting, and the...
it just made me feel like I was reading a mystery novel while I was watching it. It just when you have a mystery novel in your mind, like, this is what I think of.
Yes.
This description of all of this is so intense and all these different things. So I enjoyed that part of it. I would have never thought it had a name.
Exactly.
Right. I was just thinking it's a black and white film. It just has this type of essence to it because it's a novel. It's a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to figure those things out. So yeah, I appreciated the little twists and turns of the movie in general. So,
bro, did you like that the look, the feel, the pace?
Well, my introduction into
I like the way you describe it better than the movie.
It's hard for me to keep up with Jania's descriptions, though. So that's
oh, thanks, bro. Sis.
But my introduction to film noir was Sin City. Did you?
I've never watched that, but I
know. No, but I feel like I've seen video
I've
clips.
Never watched
that's surprising. That. Well,
I'll put it on our list. Should it go on the list, bro? Is it a classic?
Yeah.
By some standards?
I'd be curious. It's one of my favorite movies.
Oh.
It's one of my favorite movies. It has a sequel, but the first one, it's in Frank Miller. It's a Frank Miller movie, and he's the one who did like 300.
Okay.
And so
his visuals are amazing.
But what I'm saying is, he does a lot of that. But it's this movie was based off a graphic novel, which is also within the genre. And the reason why I'm bringing that up, just how there was the narrator and the look and feel of it, and also Sin City is a modern movie, but it's also black and white, and it's black and white with little splashes of color, but it's black and white because it's within this genre. And what I'm saying is, it was interesting to see what was the origin of that genre. And I feel like, for me, I bet that people at the time got the feeling that I got when I was watching Sin City.
Okay.
Like, I bet people in 1944 had that feeling of edginess that I had when I was watching Sin City. But I didn't have that feeling of watching. I enjoyed this movie much more than I anticipated. Let me say that. But I didn't get the feeling of edginess because at this point that style of movie has been parodied so much that it was difficult for me to separate it from the parody.
Sure.
Like
you can totally see Mad TV in the back.
Oh,
something.
Yeah, when the guy's talking real fast, like, you gotta know, Joe, that's how we do. That cadence of how they talk.
Like, yeah, see? I didn't make that connection, but you're right. That gets mocked a lot.
That's so true.
And Family Guy, I forget which clip it was, but Family Guy had, they've parodied that genre several times. But I remember one when they had the guy's pants hiked up. Everybody had their pants hiked all the way up. And they made a reference to like, why are your pants hiked up? That's how we do. Now it's 1940. See? And then just see how
that's how we do, see?
And the pants hiked up.
Oh, God.
And it was like, and there were things that I saw that I was like, I bet when this happened, it was very edgy. Like when she came out, and she had she was just covered by the towel.
Yes.
And even the way they were kissing.
Yes.
I bet people were,
Bro, I looked it up. The movie was very edgy for its time. And in fact, Barbara Stanwyck, who at the time was the highest paid actress in Hollywood, she did not want to play the role of seductress and murderess, and because she wasn't known for doing things that were so dark. And so she actually didn't want to do it, and no one wanted to play Walter Neff. And this is according to an article on mentalfloss.com. Nobody wanted to play that character, okay, because there was no redemption. They were like, can you make him, can you somehow make him, an investigator or something so that he's catching the bad woman? Nobody wanted to play him because there was no redemption for him in a way that was palatable, and also they had a hard time even getting the film made because, first of all, it was inspired by a real murder. Okay.
I didn't know that.
So the book that the movie was based off of was about the real life murder case of Albert Snyder, who was killed in 1927 by his wife, Ruth Brown Snyder, and her lover, who was a corset salesman. That's got to be a long day. A corset salesman named Henry Judd Gray. Okay.
Of course, he used to sell themselves.
Here, see? It's a corset, see? Tie it right here, see?
You saw 7 Brothers, 7 Brothers.
Oh, those waists were tiny. Those waists were, and those rib cages were broad. So they were very effective. They took $100,000 life insurance policy out on the husband, and then they tried to kill him several times, and they were unsuccessful. And then eventually they were caught, and they were ultimately executed, the two of them, for the murder. Wow. Once they were successful, they were then caught and executed for the murder in 1928. So that made it scandalous, and then
it even more edgy.
And then the production codes at the time didn't allow for this kind of content. So to your point, bro, it was definitely edgy at the time to the point where they had a hard time getting it made.
And you could tell.
They had to keep cleaning it up a little to get it made.
Wow.
And
I wonder what it was when it's originally written. Like, what was it before they had
what got cut?
To get to an acceptable script.
Exactly.
It says it took 8 years for someone to come up with a version of the story that could actually be approved by Paramount Pictures. Yeah, I mean, and so
think about what Paramount puts out now.
That code has gone to hell. The code has gone completely to hell.
Is out.
Yes.
It's amazing to see, but you could tell. And the other piece to it is right now we are like, for example, when I saw him shot in the opening scene, as soon as he started talking, I was like, oh, well, the woman shot him. Like I knew that.
You guessed that, bro?
Yeah, because
he said it pretty much said it, but
he but I could tell that
it was a lover's.
Well, what I'm saying is I bet at the time that was a twist. Because I'm saying the way our minds think now, you have to work harder to get, because we're looking for it, even without trying. But if you're walking into this theater, you're just blown away that this dude is shot. And this movie hasn't even got started yet. You're like, what is going on? You know what I mean? So I know at the time, I just wish I could have watched it with the 1940 brain, because I bet it was just, like I'm saying, the way I felt when I watched Sin City, I bet that's how everybody felt when they watched this movie. But it was like, okay, well, as soon as he started talking, I was like, well, the woman shot him. And so since I knew the woman shot him, I was watching for her to be crooked throughout the movie. And the thing is that if I wasn't watching for that, the way they wrote it, I would have thought she was a victim.
Right.
I would have thought she was a victim. And so I'm not even begrudging the movie. I'm just talking about me watching it now. I had to really be like, what would have been like if I was watching this in 1940? That's how
well, bro, can I just say, I am happy to know that you're excited by this genre. And you too, sis, because I have a sneak attack for you. I am putting a link in the chat right now. Okay? I just put it in the chat. Y'all click on it. And if the link doesn't work, everything's ruined. But, y'all, I pulled up the script online because I just was like, this kind of fast talking, I was loving it so much. And the thing about it, and just, that we've been indirectly talking about it, but to get a little bit more direct, the writing. I mean, it was so full of quips and puns and double entendres and just this, I mean, it's like witty to the 10th degree. Everybody who said something had two meanings for what they said. And then everybody had a retort that had three meanings for what was said, which is why it wasn't hard to find symbolism in this movie. And there were so many opportunities because everything had so many meanings throughout the movie. So I went into the script and I pulled out some scenes that I just loved in terms of that pacing of the language, And now I would like to force my brother and sister to try to read excerpt number 1, okay, which is when Walter and Phyllis, this is the first time that they've met, y'all, okay? And this is when you get a chance to see the way that they interact with each other.
Well, listen here about this sneak attack. My computer is like, she trying to sneak attack who? Because this is not letting me open this document.
Bro, did you open it?
Maybe it's my
mouse.
mouse.
I got it open.
Okay. Sis, maybe I can email it to you.
Brittany looked like her whole situation shut down.
Oh, man.
I'm like,
she's frozen and everything.
Oh, no.
Can y'all hear me at least?
We can hear you, but your video is frozen. All right. This is why spontaneity is not good for a... Just let it go, sis.
My whole situation, and I can't even let it go. My computer won't let me.
Oh, everything's ruined. Oh, this was a good idea. All right.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
It's failing.
Well, you want to do this tonight?
Me and you'll do it.
You want to do the thing, and this will give Brittany's computer a chance
Am I
to
still
catch
frozen?
Up.
You are.
You're still frozen, but we could do the scene, Janai.
And sis, the pose you're frozen in is a troubleshooting pose. It's as if you're trying to.
It's a troubleshooting pose. And what we'll do.
But the trouble has not been shot because you're still in the midst of it. But bro, me and you can do it.
What we'll do is while Brittany's trying to get her froze. I mean, how far do you want to go?
Well, I just pulled out. You'll see there's a line.
I know, I'm saying. So you just want to go to the first?
Yeah, just excerpt number 1. Y'all, I pulled out 4 top-notch excerpts for the movie. Let's do number 1, bro.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold on.
Now, the object here, which was funnier when it was going to be you and Brittany, is to try to get that pace and delivery that they had. And since you've seen Sin City, bro, and you just love it and the sequel, and this was so familiar to you, you should be excellent at this.
Clearly, you weren't talking like this. All right.
Okay, so now you all, this is Aubrey Wright playing Walter Neff and Genia Wright as Phyllis Dietrichson.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Here we go. I wish you'd tell me what's engraved on that anklet.
Just my name.
As for instance?
Phyllis.
Phyllis. I like that.
You have to say, I think.
Phyllis, I think, yeah. Sorry. Phyllis, I think I like that.
But you're not sure?
I'd have to drive it around the block a couple of times.
Mr. Neff, why don't you drop by tomorrow evening about 8:30? He'll be in then.
Who?
My husband. You were anxious to talk to him, weren't you?
Sure. I'm only over it a little, if you know what I mean. Oh, I'm getting over it a little, if you know what I mean.
There's a speed limit in this state, Mr. Neff. 45 miles an hour.
How fast was I going, officer?
I'd say about 90.
Suppose you get off your motorcycle and give me a ticket.
Suppose I let you off with a warning this time.
Suppose it doesn't take.
Suppose I have to whack you over the knuckles.
Suppose I buzz out crying and put my hand on your shoulder.
Suppose you try putting it on my husband's shoulder.
That tears it. 8:30 tomorrow then, Mrs. Dietrichson.
That's what I suggested.
Will you be there too?
I guess so. I usually am.
Same chair, same perfume, same anklet?
I wonder if I know what you mean.
I wonder if you wonder.
And scene.
Oh my God, that is... First of all,
it's hard. No.
But not
no
only
callbacks.
That,
no callbacks.
No callbacks. But that was so perfect that is a perfect example. And we just butchered it, of course.
Completely. It's ruined.
And I'm going to just tell you though, Janai, had you not popped this up on me in the last second, I would have actually prepared.
I know.
As a matter of fact, I would be willing, as we do extra stuff sometimes, I would be willing to dress up and do black and white. I'll get a hat. And we can really practice. And you can you can put up a clip of us.
Yes. Bro, this is a brilliant idea. And over the summer, y'all, we'll talk about this at the end of the podcast. But over the summer, we're actually going to start our summer break after this episode. And over the summer, we're going to be looking into our marketing efforts. And bro, what you have just described to me would be a top-notch ad. I love it. And we need to pick a scene with at least 3 characters in it. But bro, that would be so fun.
Yeah, I mean, or we could just write one. We could just
write one.
Yeah, we could just write one into the shorts.
And it would be about the Wright Perspective. See, the Wright Perspective, baby.
Okay. All right. So you guys get to hear the birth of what is going to be an amazingly viral idea. So,
this is so good. This is so good,
yes.
bro. And we could just
do
as Brittany several of them.
Technical difficulties and looking to get back based on Janai. We'll continue the discussion. But what I want to say is that I think the movie had a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, really? I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and
just because it's so highly lauded.
Yes, and when I was watching the movie, it was an interesting feeling of more than me enjoying it. It was an understanding of why people enjoy it. And I know that sounds weird, but it wasn't like I enjoyed the movie. But like I wouldn't have given it a 9 out of 10 if I was just watching this without any context,
right,
or anything. But what I'm saying is watching it in context, I understanding everybody liked it, and I can also understand this whole podcast was born out of this is what we actually do. Like prior to us ever recording anything, we would literally be on Zoom meetings talking about old movies and stuff like that. We used
totally
to watch that, and because a lot of the movies we watched are so uncharacteristic of us, people wouldn't have expected. We thought, oh, this would be fun for a podcast. So that's how I got started. So the point what I'm trying to say is, I know I'm not a film student or a film, I'm not a professional film critic or anything like that. But but I could kind of see watching something how I can understand how film critics would like this.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I do see what you're saying, and sis, it looks like you're almost back with us.
There.
Close, y'all. She's coming back. The troubles are getting shot.
The troubles are getting shot. She's almost back.
I see what you're saying, bro. I agree with that, because one thing is for sure, good writing is good writing. You could disagree with the content of something that's well written. You can not like the way that something is performed. But if the story is well told, it's just well told. And if you just read this script, if you just read it, you would say, gosh, this is a well told story. And so you layer on top of it these strong performers. These were award-winning performers at the time. And I think that I agree with you, bro. I could see how people would laud this film 100%.
Yeah. It's just like I was listening to Michael Jackson the other day, okay, and you're back.
Yay!
All right. But I was
and sis, the good news, sis, is that Aubrey came up with a great idea. We're going to record some of these, the three of us, after this podcast and over the summer for marketing. So we're going to make some original ones. It's going to be, Janelle wants to be a promotion. So we're going to dress up. And black and white.
Film noir.
Watch the Wright Perspective. See?
we might even do it when we're all together. So
yes! So we can have some awkward staging. Yes! I love this.
All right. So
we're definitely going to smoke. 100%. Yeah. But bro, you were talking about Michael Jackson.
Okay, so I went down a Michael Jackson road. It started off with the Free Willy soundtrack, the song, I'm going to call it Hold Me, but I know that's not the name of the song. But the song where
Hold me like
the River Jordan. So anyway, this
yeah.
So this led me down.
It's called Will You Be There?
Yes, Will You Be There? So this led me down.
Hold Me Like the River of Jordan.
Yes. So Brittany was today years old. She figured that out. But all right, but anyway. So
man, like the air of a Jordan.
And just so you all know, Nike does not sponsor this podcast. So Brittany, no one appreciates Brittany wrecking those lyrics. No one.
I had to just like you should have lied about that. Like you should.
Let me give her another Google Doc to open. Let me give her another Google Doc to open.
Brittany, why don't you click on that link again?
Yeah.
Click on that link on that super awesome. All right, so let me try to get myself back on track. That one threw me off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you, because that doesn't even go with the feeling of the song
at all.
Like, all right, but anyway, so
he was creative, a genius.
All right, so anyway, that led me down listening to a lot of Michael Jackson yesterday. I was in a Michael Jackson hole, Jack. I went all the way back.
That sounds fabulous, though.
It was fantastic.
Oh.
It was fantastic. And the thing is that as I'm listening to how amazing this little boy growing up through a man, the way he sings, I'm thinking there is probably a level to this that I'm unable to appreciate. Like there's a level of, like, someone who knows music can probably say, like, see right here, he's doing,
exactly
X, Y, and Z.
And he was the first one to ever X, Y, and Z, or he was referencing X, Y, Z when he
do this with their voice, or you know what I mean? Like, it gave me a feeling like and that was the feeling I had while watching this movie. Like, someone who's a student of film could probably pull out a lot more from this movie than I can, as not being a professional, person who critiques film or anything like that. So I definitely understand. I got the feeling of why it's so popular, why it had a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes, even if I wasn't able to pull out all of the logistics and mechanics behind why. Because like because in me watching it, like I said, in the context of how I am now, there's just so many things. Like, even if they just started off with just a close-up of his face and we didn't know he was shot at first, just something like that would have allowed us to, because the way they played the female lead, I would have thought she was a victim all the way until they revealed that. Like, all the way up until she started acting a little, shifty, or really all the way up until the daughter said something.
Really?
I close to that, I still would have.
Bro, even though in the very, like, she literally is saying to him, like, early in their interactions, she has this conversation with him about accidental death insurance that she initiates.
No, she was definitely clearly
suspicious.
No, I'm gonna say the aggressor in this situation. But, like, I get what you're saying. But what I'm saying is I could have seen the character being somebody who was just pushed through their wits in. Which, obviously, murder should not be the solution. But what I'm saying is that we see those types of characters and we have empathy for them in movies. That they write them in ways that it's like, yes, this person is talking about doing something terrible.
You know what, though, bro? I have to say, with this movie, I don't think that they ever wanted us to give her the benefit, because you have to remember, the very first time we met her, she was wrapped in a towel and had been sunbathing, and it's she could have called around the corner and said, "Who is it? Who is it, maid?" But no, she comes right on out. Okay, and she comes down the stairs, still buttoning up. You're
right. You're right.
Sitting in a very promiscuous, with her ankle bracelet again. It's like, what are you? So I feel like, bro, the very first time we meet her, they want us to question her morality. I thought they were very intentional about that.
Okay, I get
but
that.
Even
I
from
think
the
obviously when
at the very beginning.
When I'm watching it from I'm a guy. So, like, watching it from...
Oh, she was a damsel in distress. A dame. She was a dame. A dame.
No.
See? A dame in distress.
I would,
baby.
she's a dame.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have looked at it like that. I would have looked at her as somebody who likes being a seductress, but I wouldn't have looked at her as a potential murderer right from the beginning.
Okay.
So like, because, you know, there are women who just like to be, you know, they like that type of attention that I've encountered in my, and so and sometimes when they have no intentions of doing anything, it's just that they like to see, you know, somebody responding to whatever it is that they're doing. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so I wouldn't have put her in the innocent category. I'm just saying I wouldn't have put her in the category
in the murderer category,
especially for no reason.
Right.
Especially for like, I would have put her in the, seductress, bad situation. This is the only way she could get out. It's the 40s, you know, type of
totally
circumstance. Like that's where I would have put her, but not just straight. Like, for example, I never assumed that she had anything to do with the death of the previous wife. But I'm saying, based on what you are saying, like you guys probably had that little.
What did you think, sis? Sis, did you trust her? Did you want to give her the benefit of the doubt about the murder or the death rather of of Mr. Dietrichson's first wife, or did you suspect her?
I didn't suspect her, but when they said it, I said, "Oh, that sounds about right." I was just like,
you were surprised, like
I was like, I was, because
you were like, oh, no, this is all making sense.
Exactly, like
that
he started off narrating the movie just basically like, this is a movie about, you know, this is a story of like love and how far it went too far. Like, so I knew from the beginning that somebody was dying up in here. She was a part of it. It was some, you know, it was about love and all these different things. So I don't think any of it surprised me. What I did say that I appreciated that complexity to it, because now what you have is not someone, and it makes it even deeper when you're saying that no one wanted to play that role, because now you have someone that is a potential serial killer, right?
Yep.
She killed this wife and now she's killing this husband. Who knows if Lola would have even survived this? Because
Not
Lola's
likely.
the only one that could connect it. And then, oh boy, her boyfriend, who she just dragged into the situation.
And really, so she admitted to it at the end. Like,
she sure did. I don't care about anybody.
She's not, and then her being the woman, as soon as, because I was wondering, I was like, okay, how'd they get together? Because, you know, it's an older guy, younger lady. Okay. But I was like, oh, I was his wife's nurse. I said, oh, well, she was plotting on, I didn't think necessarily murder, but she was absolutely plotting on her dying. Like, I'm about to be on her come up. Oh,
yeah, and
dead.
You know, something that struck me after the movie and after I had a chance to sit with it a little bit. You remember when she first met Walter, she said, "Oh, are you with the Automobile Club? Someone from the Automobile Club has also been trying to get in touch with my husband." It struck me later that, is she the reason that the automobile insurance lapsed? Maybe she's the reason that it lapsed, so that insurance salesmen would come after them. You know, and I'm like, and was she at the time just trying to decide which one she was going to manipulate? And Walter, you know, picked up what she was dropping. Okay, so he said, "Let me get a slice of that pie." Okay, and so then she decides to use him in her plot. It's like, how long has she been planning this? Is the question.
There are so many people that have that type of energy, that type of dominance, and that's male or female, or, you know, whatever you subscribe, whatever gender you subscribe to, like, that have that type of energy where I can make you think of a horrible possibility just to be with me. And there are some people who are aware of that energy and they use it, you know, it's a way they check it. They check that energy. Then there are people like her who know they have it and they use it in every way they want to, and they use it for evil. And so
yeah, because even at the end when she succumbed to realize that she was going to get shot, what it made me feel like is like, man, she's probably done a bunch of stuff.
Oh,
because it was almost like
there's so much.
It was almost like she was relieved to be like, you know what, just hold me. I know you're about to shoot me. Just hold me while I get shot.
Yeah.
And then, like, but I'll tell you one thing that I did think when I was, and this might be a cardinal sin for people who are real movie fans and like, because I'm not often a fan of remakes. But one remake, you guys ever see Man on Fire?
No. Wait.
Wait, with Denzel Washington?
Denzel Washington.
And Paula Patton? Is that the one with
No.
And now you're thinking of, there was another one with them too. But yeah, I saw Man on Fire. It was for a little girl.
Oh, that's right, with Dakota Fanning. Yes, I saw that. Denzel. Yes.
But anyway, so that's a
very good.
Listen, we need to do a Denzel Washington series. Like,
sis, put it on the list. Put it on the list.
All right, we'll discuss that offline. But anyway, like, I love Denzel, but I mean,
he's fantastic.
All right, but what I'm saying is,
we're black.
All
right. Has to happen.
I pronounce his name like this, Denzel. That's how much I enjoy him. Please continue.
I'm not even making up. Anyway, so the Denzel's been derailing conversations for decades. Derailing conversations with Black women for decades.
Yeah.
But all about what baby did.
But that movie is a remake. That movie is a remake. So there was an original Man on Fire. And,
that could be a combo.
So that would
combo
be
episode.
Interesting. But what I'm saying is that was, to me, a great remake. And I know critics like paying that movie a little bit, but I just thought it was a phenomenal remake. And I think if a remake is done right, it could be amazing. And I thought it would be so, because there was so much stuff they were getting away with in that movie that you wouldn't be able to get away with now. Like, because you were on the train, that the train's going to have cameras. You can't
all up and down the track.
With forensic science, you can't just break somebody's neck and throw them off the train.
Even just the way that we're all being geo-tracked every second by everything. Every device, vehicles, everything.
But the concept of this is that they basically came out, they almost pulled off the perfect murder. So it would be interesting to see if somebody could write that
now
same situation, but do it now. Being able to have these people, somehow circumvent every reason why you couldn't do something like this and still be able to get away with it. I think that would be I have
a question.
Yeah.
If we're making it reality, do you think that cast could have Black people as some of the main characters?
Yeah, I'm saying right now. Like it would be.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like right now, with knowing that Black people, in terms of like the criminal system, how we are, when things happen, we're looked at like so intensely about things like.
If the movie was being done now, what they would have to do, whoever was perpetrating the crime, they would have to think of every single possibility.
Yeah,
so if they were Black, they would have to factor that into their planning. Yeah, that they are already under more intense scrutiny.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever they were, they would have to.
They'd have to factor it in.
If they were Asian, because there's stuff going on right now, and related to that community, whatever community they found themselves in, they would have to use what was ever surrounding them to be able to.
What this movie did make me think of was Set It Off. And part of it was that's the first movie that comes to mind when I think of somebody like an Inside Job kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because you remember in Set It Off, they targeted banks because one of them was a banker. And she knew every single thing about her bank and how banks ran. And so she was equipped to help plan that heist and those heists,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And so that was the thing here. It was like he was an insurance salesman. And so he understands insurance. He understands how the business runs. And that's why he was able to plan this perfect murder. And y'all, I have to say, I mean, I think they might have gotten away with it. Why do y'all think he went back to kill her? I remain slightly baffled by this. I mean,
well, he had to because Keys had tracked this back to her and Lola's boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if she would have got caught, she's saying maybe I'll talk. Right. And he knows that the only person who knows he's involved is her.
Got it.
And since Keys is on her, if he gets to her, and she wouldn't pull the case, because like he was saying, just pull the case. Because the police aren't.
But bro, he killed her. He killed her and then went and confessed. Why did he kill her and run for the border?
Well, I think that after he killed her, after she shot him and he killed her, and then his plan was about to come into place because Lola's boyfriend showed up, all he had to do was call the police. And then if he called the police, Lola's boyfriend would have been there. Mm-hmm. They already were making the connections because he was
right.
there.
So why the change of heart? Why?
That was the whole point. That he, in that last moment, they showed him come out like, you know what, here's a nickel, go. Like he came to his senses at the last moment. That when he was given the confession is not when he came to his senses. He came to his senses when he was about to frame an innocent man, and he just couldn't do it.
Like he was far gone. He was far gone.
Got it.
It's ridiculousness.
And maybe in hearing Lola's confession, he decided he didn't want to be that type of person.
You mean Phyllis's
confession.
I thought maybe it was about Lola. You know, he mentioned in the confession
that as well.
He mentioned in the confession that he was so delighted by his relationship with her, and he found her to be such a delight that maybe it was about.
She was just a sweet girl.
She was a sweet girl, and her parents had been murdered.
Lost her dad, like.
Mm-hmm. And maybe he was just saying she deserves this money.
That's right.
Let her get the payout.
You let her get her because he had a different payout for her. So even if they don't pay out that 100, she already has hers. So look, you know, it's no. So yeah, so I think he just had that moment of clarity, like, all right, this has gone far enough. So.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that concept of insurance paying out. And I will just say for listeners and viewers, me and Aubrey and Brittany, this topic of like insurance is something we have talked about just as a family about this paying in and it being so hard to get the benefits that you're paying for over and over and over again and forever and for all eternity. And it was so interesting in this movie, this character of Barton Keyes, he holds himself up as like the symbol of integrity because he is working so hard to make sure that people don't get paid out for fraudulent claims for the insurance company. And it really just raises this larger question about virtue in that industry. You know, did this movie lead either of you down that larger thinking about insurance and like when you're really getting down to who's fighting for what here? You know, there's just something to me always a little frustrating with the companies working so hard not to pay out. Now, in this case, you know, it was just like the police had made a ruling. They had come to an initial ruling, but because of the size of the payout, they just kept digging and digging and digging and digging. It was like, maybe in this case, you just got to pay out. I don't know. There was something about the insurance company just in general being a bad guy to me was present.
Mm.
In my personal experience so far in life, it's not the life insurance companies that bother me so much. And actually, I do believe they have I can see a life insurance company wanting to make sure that they're paying out and under the right circumstance. Because not only do they need to, but if they weren't like that, I think people would be incentivized to do some pretty horrible things. And so I life insurance.
Oh, that's a good point, bro.
Yeah, I so far I haven't been in a circumstance where like when we were having to deal with different payouts from dad and stuff like that. I mean, the process is we had to do paperwork, but once we got the paperwork in, everything was pretty much how it was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But car insurance companies are a little more in the gray for me because car insurance companies it's you could be paying for decades, and as soon as you use it, your rates go up. It's like, all right, like that.
Yes.
But even car insurance companies are a car is a luxury in a lot of situations. You know what I'm saying? So in taking on a luxury, I'm just saying I can see the discussion there.
Yes.
But medical insurance companies though are
it's hard.
And I'm not trying to to me
it's hard.
Medical insurance companies they are the only insurance company. They are the only, and I don't like getting political, but I'm just saying they're the only things they're literally there to charge you money for your health.
Yes.
That's the only service they provide. They don't provide a service. So all I'm saying is, if we're talking about the insurance industry, my problems, I could talk for hours on medical insurance companies, but not.
Yeah, I can see that, bro. I really appreciate what you're saying. And I guess I really do appreciate what you're saying, and I want to make sure that I am in a spirit of gratitude about being able to be a person that has insurance. I just think about, there are times where I have had to really go through the ringer to access the insurance benefits that I have. And when it's happening,
you're talking about medical insurance.
I am, bro. That's
what I'm saying. That's whole. Yeah, that is.
And in those moments, I'm like, geez, it's a good thing that English is my first language. It's a good thing that I'm youthful enough to, and it's a good thing that I have time. To wade through the processes and decipher, and advocate for myself, because it just seems but you're right, bro. We really have to parse them, because the insurance experiences are very different. I thank you for saying that.
Because I'm saying I'm okay with the profit motive in life insurance.
Yes.
I'm okay with a profit motive in auto insurance. It just blows my mind that there's a profit motive in health.
Yeah.
In the health industry. So what I'm saying is no, there shouldn't be anybody like Keys trying to stop people from getting health coverage. So if we're saying
it's different.
Yeah, if we're saying people like
him, I have an inelegant segue. People, on the topic of people who are on the losing end of services that are available to the public, can we talk about the colored people in this movie? I have. So for those who haven't seen the movie, everybody's white except for, and it is truly every janitor, there's one maid that's white, but the janitor and there's a car, there's a parking lot attendant, and it's just like the black people in the film are really, really low-level service workers. And I have really sad news. You would want to think that it is the casting of the time, but when I looked at the script, y'all, it literally doesn't name the race of anybody except for like the workers. So it'll say a colored woman empties the trash can, and that kind of thing. So anyway, it's the times.
But again, we're, I think that
It's just so frustrating.
I think that I'll say I only speak for myself. When I'm watching that, I don't think I will really be able to understand that either way. I feel like we could research but like, part of me would be like, is it good that there was black people on the screen? You know what I mean? Like there's that.
Keep that
like,
bar low. Yep.
Well, no. Well, what I'm saying is there had to be a progression of,
absolutely.
Well, not had to be, but that's how. Like,
but there was.
Like,
yeah,
but there was. That's what I'm saying. So without, we just talk about Denzel, who's one of the highest paid movie actors in history.
Yeah.
But to get to Denzel,
we had to have the parking attendant. We had to have the parking attendant. Sis, did you have any reactions to that? To seeing the black people in service positions?
No, because nothing has changed in 2021. We're in 2021. They would much rather see us in service positions. So it's not. It's no surprise to me. I'm like,
well, I have a list of topics here. I have to get through this list that I've generated.
Listen, when I saw them, it was like
with one of those. What are those?
Listen, when I saw it, I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. At least we are there.
Oh,
yeah.
Right,
but bro, to your earlier point though about the fact that a qualified eye could watch these kind of movies and take away more. Yeah. I think about how historians watch movies from decades ago, because I even think about like the ethnic origins of white last names. There are just lots of places where a writer of the time could be very intentional about, living in the politics of the time in their writing, and those are the kinds of things that, historians can parse.
And can I just say, like, we all seen It's a Wonderful Life. Okay. And
for who? Sorry, but yes.
No, get out of the party. Look. I'm saying, but It's a Wonderful Life. You all remember the last scene where, everybody's coming in and giving them the money and stuff like that. And I'm not even going to repeat the line, but when that black lady came in, that was just.
We've got to put that movie on our list. We do.
That was just, and it was just so horrendous because
it might be on there.
It was.
Say it because I don't remember. I haven't watched that movie in so long. What was the line?
She was like, I was saving this money for when I get me a husband. I can't even say it. Just look up the last scene in It's a Wonderful Life. And the movie itself was, I feel like, a great holiday feel-good movie, barring this end scene with this black lady. And what I did want to say in this movie, so there have been times where I've seen that, where it's just, they put in this caricature.
Tropish kind of.
But I didn't feel that with these. Like they
I
were.
agree with you. They were just there. They were just the service workers.
But you know what? I think about that now that we're talking about it. And I'm thinking to myself, what if how they were breaking barriers with this movie What if they were breaking barriers, just having Black people on the screen?
Exactly.
That's what Aubrey was saying.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. So like, even in the list of everything else they were doing, it's like.
I have to, and bro, I agree with, listen, I'm not in disagreement about progress.
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to read to you a brief little paragraph from the script. Okay. And this is from the very beginning of the movie when Walter Neff, the first time we see him, he's like walking into his office building. It's like labored walking, right? Mm-hmm. And he walks. The office building isn't really open yet. So the only people that are there are cleaners, okay? And then there is the night attendant who kind of helps him on the elevator, who is a white man. But when he gets actually into the office, there are janitors cleaning, okay? Mm-hmm. So here is how that's written up in the script. Brace yourselves. 2 colored women are cleaning the offices. One is dry mopping the floor. The other is moving chairs back into position, etc. A colored man is emptying waste baskets into a big square box. He shuffles a little dance step as he moves and hums a little tune.
Well, like I said.
Oh gosh!
Here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you, like that. I'm just being.
It made me regret, like, because I didn't have any. You know what? I didn't have.
I'm choosing to live in ignorance these days with stuff like this because I'm like, it makes me too mad.
It strengthened my reaction to the race dynamic in the movie when in just watching it. I don't think I really had one. I was just noticing, but then when I went back and read the transcript, that's when I was like.
Look, and I'm not saying this is what it was. Okay?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is I could also read that as this part is going to go to a colored person.
You're right, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So,
you're right. When you're right, you're right.
All I'm saying is I don't know. And like I don't know how it was, but like maybe it was a situation where they're like, if we don't specify that this role goes to a Black person, it's going to go to a white person.
You right.
So
I don't know. We don't know.
I'm just saying, like
I do like to err on the side. I do like to err on the side of racism, though.
Well, they wanted him to dance.
That's my favorite side.
So,
but
that's the only thing. But you're right, bro.
But what I'm saying is let's just say it was a white man, and we were reading this script as. You know, him being it was just a white man doing a thing. We could be reading that, oh, he's just a jolly janitor dude who just does a shuffle. We and I'm not saying it wasn't that. I'm just saying bro, your point is made, and you've made a good point, bro. You've made a good point. You know, because I was like, oh, they just had them be normal.
They're just people. Workers in the place.
Yeah, like they were just working. Because like I think the quintessential is the last of that. And Brittany, I want you to look it up so you'll know what I'm talking about.
She could have just been there. She didn't have to do all that.
She could even just send somebody. She could have just here, I want to give somebody to whatever. But like it was just so shoehorned. Her delivery even was just so bad. It was like that type of stuff makes me mad.
Bro, I get what you're saying. It could have been much. It could have been worse.
But you know what? To that point, still not much has changed, right? Because you think about it, what was that movie with Queen Latifah and Steve Martin?
Bringing Down the House.
I think something like that. And there was a part where she shows up to his job, his law office, and she just has to pretend to be a little old church lady that he's helping with their taxes. Well, but the movie, of course, that movie is hilarious.
Yeah, it is Bringing Down the House.
Bringing Down. I love that movie, but what I'm saying is that the view that she had to become was this like step and fetch type of person in that moment.
I felt like it was a parody of that idea. Like when I watched.
No, of course, but there's still. But my point is that there are still people who believe that those things are still okay. That's my point. I'm not saying that she didn't play that caricature of a person. What I'm saying is that still there are people who are still comfortable with that type of seeing someone, a person of color, in that role, and seeing someone doing that. So the fact that she was able to slip into it and it still be okay, that's where the problem is. So the question becomes really, have we gone forward? Have we actually elevated? But I know that there, but I mean, I understand what you're saying, but the other point is that, like, listen, the crazy part, like, why was it that there's both sides of the conversation that can be had, and probably have a thesis, written about why either side was okay or why either side happened. And but I wasn't really paying attention to it. And the other part of it is there was the man that came in and he was trying to get money for his truck. I don't remember, was he Italian or was he someone that was I
don't remember, but yeah. You're right.
There was someone in this movie
who was trying to put together, he was putting in a fraudulent claim.
Yeah. So these things, how all those things are portrayed, but for me, I have to dispense that, right? I can't watch these movies with the mindset I have on a regular basis, because I'll be like, well, y'all, it's not going to be my perspective. I cannot watch this. I'm not going to press play. But I know that I have to put myself in a mindset of that time. And so I'm like, okay, just us being on the screen got us to Sidney Poitier, right? Like that's what I have to start to think about, those different things.
I appreciate that. And I think it's also something that we've noticed as a through line for all of our reviews, is that some of the best movies are the ones that lead to these larger discussions. They're the ones that are not just where you find yourself not just discussing the film itself, but concepts or dynamics or culture that's playing out. So I would say that is one of the things that this movie definitely has going for it. It does call into question some of these larger discussions. I think it does make you start to think about insurance industry as a whole, and in general, these ginormous industries that play out in our lives. And then you do start to think about economics. This movie is definitely about men and women and that dynamic, and how it plays out in power and manipulation. There's a lot here, y'all. And that might be the segue to the vote. The question is, given we've talked about all these components of this movie, is this movie a classic from the Wright perspective? Bro, take it away.
Well, it gets my train car. I feel like it's a classic, and even if I can't explain it, I just have the feeling. So I feel like it's a classic. I'm actually going to be curious to watch some reviews of people who are qualified.
Yeah. For me, it's a classic because it made me want to explore. Like, I'm now like, oh, film noir, I'm into you. What you doing later? Because I really enjoyed it, and so it wasn't just the movie that was good to me.
You both got to watch Sin City today. So.
Challenge accepted. So because
and you're going to want to call me immediately after, just so you all know.
And y'all, I have to tell you, part of what also made this movie so good for me was, we talked about it at the very top, it was just this excellent writing. Lately I have been really getting into hip hop. This is a newer skill set of mine that I'm really excited to be leaning into. And part of what, and I'm now qualified to say what I'm about to say, part of what makes a good lyric, okay, is sometimes it having multiple meanings, and so to the ear of one person it might mean one thing, then the ear to
the sad thing is you're right. That's the sad thing about it.
Yes. Listen, don't ever listen. If I'm approaching something academically, I'm going to get an A. So here's what you need to know.
This has been our experience.
When I was watching this movie, y'all, all I could think was you would have to, the same way that you see these guys, these people online going through the great lyrics of great rappers and saying, just because you have to almost stop it after each line and say, oh my gosh, here are the many things this could mean. That is how I felt about this script. Every single line of dialogue to me was so rich. And that to me is just like, I haven't seen anything like that. Just so much of that kind of like double and triple meaning through the entire movie. So that's what made it a classic to me. I was really, really intrigued by that. And so it gets my train car.
I just gets my train car just because I enjoyed it. That's it. Like, if I add anything else to it, this train car going to be gone off the track.
It don't even need to. It don't even need to.
So at the base of it, because this is something, and this I watched it as soon as I probably watched it the day or two after we recorded before. So I've watched it a couple weeks ago, and I still just remember the feeling of enjoying what was going on, what was happening.
Yeah,
and just the twists and turns, and also just really the audacity, because I'm just like, people are really something else.
They got so much nerve.
You're really about to kill this person so you can get, and which is funny because how you mentioned just the difference and how much it would be. I think you said it was like $1.9 million.
$1.9 million.
I actually looked that up.
That to me is like thinking about someone doing that. I can see how money can make somebody do something that is berserko. So I'm thinking about during that time, I think that she was about to get what, $300,000, just thinking of that, and
100,000.
How much? 100,000. It would have been plus the double indemnity.
It was 50.
It was 50, but the double indemnity made it 100.
That's right. It would have made it 100,000. And I'm thinking to myself, like, she could take $100,000 on that time and change her entire life.
Oh, absolutely.
Move to wherever
that could have been her last caper.
And just be done. So I think about what greed and selfishness can do and all those things, because she was not thinking about Lola in that moment. Oh yeah, I killed both your mom and your daddy. Like
and seriously was probably going to take her out too. I mean, it's very likely.
So yeah, but anyway, it was just watching it as a whole. I could see myself watching it again and enjoying it, and I could see people throughout time still watching this and enjoying it.
That's
the acting
good.
They did a great job. The acting was so well done.
Oh, that's good, y'all. So Sissa gets your train car.
It gets my train car.
There you have it, folks.
Yeah.
Double Indemnity is a classic from the Wright Perspective. And this concludes our last discussion of season 1 of the Wright Perspective podcast. Y'all, it has truly been amazing. I'm so excited for this. I have just enjoyed doing this. And y'all, if you have enjoyed this podcast season as much as we all have, join us in September 2021. We'll be back with our first episode of season 2 on September 4th, 2021, and we will be dropping on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So any closing thoughts for the season, bro, sis?
I've had a great time, and have a great summer, everybody.
Same here. It's been good, and it'll be fun to come back and see what we got.
Thanks, everybody. Bye, bro. Bye, sis. I love you.
Love you guys.
Love y'all. Bye.